Welcome back to this cinematic explainer, where we're going to elevate the concept of accessible watchmaking. We're out to prove that incredible horological value and genuine enthusiast respect can absolutely be found for under $1,000. Look, you really don't need a limitless budget to build a collection that turns heads and commands serious respect in the watch community. Today, we're taking a premium, deep dive look at the timepieces that punch so far above their weight class, they've actually become modern classics.
But before we look at a single timepiece, we really have to stop and ask ourselves a fundamental question. Does respect come from a luxury price tag, or does it stem from heritage, masterful design, and perfect proportions? In a watch world that's so often dominated by hype and artificial exclusivity, we're going to see exactly how honest watchmaking, authentic history, and brilliant engineering completely redefine what it actually means to wear a luxury timepiece.
Today, we're going to build a comprehensive horological wardrobe by exploring 5 distinct categories: the everyday essentials, masterful dive watches, authentic military field watches, compelling and unique chronographs, and finally, modern horological disruptors. Let's get right into it.
Category number 1, the everyday essentials. This is where versatility meets timeless design.
Collectors love to refer to this as the GADA category. Go anywhere, do anything. It's a concept that is just perfectly embodied by incredibly high-value pieces like the Seiko 5 Sports and the Citizen Tsuyosa. Take the Seiko 5 Sports line, for instance, specifically those beautifully subdued 40mm variants. You're getting a reliable automatic movement and genuine, undeniable heritage. Meanwhile, the Citizen Tsuyosa rocks this stunning integrated bracelet design and an automatic movement, offering a seriously compelling alternative to luxury pieces that cost exponentially more. Now, when we look at Swiss-made Tissots, you usually see enthusiasts weighing two absolute heavyweights against each other. On one hand, you've got the clean, suit-ready versatility of the Tissot gentleman. It isn't out there chasing microtrends, it's just a flawlessly proportioned everyday watch, complete with 100 meters of water resistance that's going to look just as good 20 years from now as it does today. But on the other hand, you have the highly elevated 1970s integrated bracelet flair of the PRX Powermatic 80. The PRX genuinely looks like a $3,000 watch, completely channeling the energy of high horology icons like the AP Royal Oak, but doing it with an 80-hour power reserve for an absolute fraction of the price.
But hey, if you want the absolute best mechanical dress watch on the market today, the simple, elegant Orient Bambino commands total respect at an astonishingly low price point of right around $300. This just brilliantly illustrates that true elegance does not require you to take out a second mortgage. With textbook dress watch proportions and a stunningly simple dial, it is a piece that even the most seasoned, jaded industry veterans can't help but admire when they spot it on a wrist at a high-end event.
Moving on to Category 2, masterful dive watches. Purpose-built tools with serious underwater heritage.
The Baltic Aquascape is, without a doubt, an absolute masterclass in vintage refinement. It perfectly captures the romance of mid-century diving while completely standing out from a very crowded market of lazy homages. And it does this brilliantly by swapping out a standard aluminum insert for a gorgeous, high-end sapphire bezel. That one tiny detail adds incredible visual depth and instantly echoes the legendary design language of high horology giants like Blancpain. And this refined elegance translates perfectly to the physical wearing experience. Collectors are straight up obsessed with these specs. We're talking textbook golden proportions here. A 39mm diameter paired with a remarkably slim 12mm thickness. And yes, that includes the crystal. All capped off with a 47mm lug-to-lug. That combination guarantees an incredibly elegant, perfectly balanced fit on almost any wrist, making it feel remarkably luxurious.
Now contrast that boutique elegance with the absolute tank that is the Casio Duro. For roughly $80, yeah, $80, you are getting an icon. It delivers 200 meters of water resistance, fantastic proportions, and a classic sporty design. It is so undeniably reliable and respected that it's famously worn by billionaires like Bill Gates. So the crucial takeaway here is that whether you have a limitless budget or literally $80 in your pocket, unbeatable, reliable value commands universal respect.
All right, Category 3, authentic military field watches, stripped-down utility, and true battlefield legacy.
The Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical isn't just a highly legible watch. It is literally a piece of history on your wrist. Hamilton's roots date all the way back to World War I, and they cemented an unshakable legacy during the Second World War by supplying over 1 million timepieces to Allied troops. 1 million! And they kept right on going under strict military contracts through the 1960s and 70s. When you wind this watch, you are physically interacting with timeless design and incredibly honest watchmaking.
Similarly, the Surica 6190 is from a brand that really separates the casual buyers from the hardcore horology enthusiasts. Just look at these magical, flat-wearing field watch dimensions. At just 10.4 millimeters thick, it melts perfectly onto the wrist. Paired with its highly legible broad hands, it isn't out there trying to trick you into thinking it's a luxury sports watch. It's entirely its own unique, elevated utilitarian thing. And those in the know immediately recognize its brilliance.
And for uncompromising, undeniable authenticity, look no further than the Marathon General Purpose Mechanical. It feels like genuine military equipment because, well, it actually is. Built to strict mil-spec standards, it features a rugged, lightweight composite fiber shell and utilizes self-illuminating tritium tubes for flawless nighttime legibility. It is a completely no-nonsense, incredibly rugged field watch powered by a reliable automatic movement. It's an incredibly pure utilitarian experience.
Moving to Category 4, compelling and unique chronographs. Timing perfection with genuine historic roots.
The compact 39mm Seiko Prospex Speed Timer Solar brilliantly carries the torch of the legendary 1969 Speed Timer. And the Speed Timer name wasn't just invented yesterday for modern marketing. It traces directly back to the introduction of the Caliber 6139, which, as many of you know, was one of the very first automatic chronographs ever created. This modern iteration respects that incredible legacy while bringing phenomenal dials like the hugely popular Ice Blue and the classic Panda into a perfectly sized case.
You know, mechanical purity is obviously highly prized in our hobby, but the grab-and-go reliability of a solar movement proves a massive point. We've really reached an era where enthusiasts no longer turn their noses up at alternative power sources. Actually, having a beautifully finished, historically significant design that you can just pick up and wear without resetting the time is a huge strength. As the saying goes, sometimes everyday convenience is its own form of luxury.
But what if you actually want that crisp, mechanical feel without the anxiety of heavy servicing costs? For a more tactile experience, enthusiasts are increasingly turning to watches powered by Mecha Quartz hybrid movements, like the Seiko-sourced VK68. This is a brilliant piece of engineering that perfectly simulates the sharp, satisfying mechanical click of a traditional chronograph pusher, all while utilizing a quartz base to keep the watch remarkably thin, affordable, and incredibly accurate.
The Mecha Quartz movement empowers some seriously compelling designs on the market right now, whether it's the Brew Metric, which, amazingly, repurposes a vintage telephone timer layout just to perfectly time an espresso shot, or the beautifully classic Panda dial of the Timex Marlin. These chronographs feel remarkably premium. In a sea of lazy copy-paste homages, these watches stand out as distinctly original, and they are incredibly respected by serious collectors.
Finally, Category 5, Modern Horological Disruptors. Timepieces that boldly break the rules and define totally new classics.
Studio Underdog is basically flipping traditional watchmaking on its head right now with their 02 series field watch. While the case specs are great, it's the dial execution that really commands respect. They build this mind-bending, multi-layered sandwich dial by placing a 1mm sapphire crystal directly over a metal base. And then they coat it with multiple layers of superluminova for an absolutely insane three-dimensional glow. They take a familiar traditional concept and execute it in the most original, maximalist way possible.
Then, sitting on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we have the Casio G-Shock. Yeah, it might seem predictable, but it's universally loved for a very good reason. It is the ultimate utilitarian watch, giving you world time, daily alarms, a stopwatch, and solar power. It possesses this undeniable charm precisely because it isn't trying to trick you into thinking it's a high-end luxury item. It is perfectly comfortable in its own rugged skin, and honestly, every single series collection needs one.
That iconic square shape of the G-Shock hasn't seen a significant alteration since it dropped back in 1983. Why? Because it perfectly illustrates that truly phenomenal design simply does not need to change. It was perfectly executed on day one, and over 40 years later, it remains a total benchmark of industrial design that watch enthusiasts all across the globe unanimously respect.
So, as you're curating or refining your own respected watch collection, I want you to look beyond the massive price tags and the flashy marketing hype. Look at the proportions, the heritage, the sheer engineering and creativity on display in these accessible pieces. Ask yourself, does true luxury really come from what a watch costs, or does it come from how masterfully it was executed? I'll leave you to chew on that. Keep exploring, keep examining the details, and we'll see you in the next explainer.